dear friend, today we are stepping into a truth so profound, so powerful, that once you understand it, your entire life begins to shift. Nothing is impossible for the mind that assumes its desire as already fulfilled. There is a power within you, quiet, loving, steady, that has been waiting for you to recognize it. This power responds not to struggle, not to fear, not to doubt, but to assumption, to the simple sacred act of choosing a new inner state and claiming it as real. So take a deep, comfortable breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart open. You are safe here. You are supported, and you are ready. What we call impossible has never been a fixed truth. It is only a belief, an idea that has been handed to us by society, by fear, by past disappointments, and by our own habits of thinking. When you look closely, you begin to see that impossibility is nothing more than a mental boundary, a line drawn in the sand that disappears the moment you decide to step beyond it. The truth is that nothing in your life is limited except by the limitations you hold in your mind. And because your mind is flexible, powerful, and endlessly creative, these limits can be rewritten at any moment. So many people live their lives trapped not by real barriers, but by the invisible walls they have accepted as unquestionable. You might have been told that your dream is unrealistic, that your desire is too big, that your situation cannot change, or that your circumstances are permanent. Somewhere along the way you may have started believing that certain blessings were meant for others but not for you. And yet, the moment you realize that impossibility is learned, you also realize it can be unlearned. What feels impossible today is simply something you have not yet allowed yourself to imagine as real. There is a creative power within you that responds to your assumptions about life. If you assume something is out of reach, your mind begins building a world where that belief becomes true. You talk yourself out of possibilities. You close doors before you ever try to walk through them. You lower your expectations because you fear disappointment. But when you assume something is possible, even if you don't yet know how, it sets a new process in motion. Your energy shifts, your thoughts expand, your feelings rise, and life begins reorganizing itself around your new belief. This is the mystery and magic of your inner power. It mirrors your assumptions with unwavering loyalty. Everything you now see in your physical world once began in someone's imagination. Every invention, every success story, every healing, every transformation started as a possibility held firmly within the mind. Impossibility melts the moment someone dares to assume a new truth. When you understand this, you stop giving power to the outer conditions and begin recognizing the creative force within you. What seems impossible is only unfamiliar. What feels impossible is only unpracticed, and what looks impossible is only waiting for you to shift your perception. You do not need evidence before you believe. Waiting for proof is what keeps people stuck in the same cycles, repeating the same experiences over and over again. You must decide first within yourself that your desire is valid, that it is already yours in the invisible realm, that the universe is capable of bringing it to you in ways you cannot predict. When you believe without needing to see immediate signs, you step into the realm where the impossible becomes inevitable. Your faith becomes the foundation, your assumption becomes the structure, and your feeling becomes the force that brings it into physical reality. Doubt may still whisper to you from time to time, telling you that you are being unrealistic or asking for too much. But doubt is only a leftover echo from your past thinking. It is not a prophecy. It is simply a habit. And like any habit, it weakens each time you choose differently. When doubt arises, gently return to the truth. You are not limited by what has happened before. Your past does not determine what is possible now. Your history does not dictate your destiny. At any moment, you can choose a new belief, a new assumption, a new inner story that opens the doors to miracles. Life supports bold thinkers, open hearts, and courageous dreamers. The moment you declare something possible, you activate a power within you that begins to guide your steps, align your circumstances, and bring the right people and opportunities into your awareness. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to struggle or strain. You simply need to maintain the inner conviction that what you desire is already unfolding for you. This inner knowing becomes a magnet, drawing your outer world into harmony with your inner vision. Impossibility is not the truth. It is only a temporary perception. Once you shift the way you think, the world around you shifts too. You begin seeing opportunities where there were once obstacles. You notice blessings where you once saw lack. You discover that life is more fluid, more responsive, more generous than you ever realized. And as you continue to believe in possibilities, as you continue to assume the best, you become the kind of person for whom miracles are not rare, they are natural. Let yourself rise beyond the borders of old thinking. Let yourself imagine without limits. Let yourself believe in the quiet, unstoppable power within you. The truth about impossibility is simple. It cannot survive in the presence of someone who knows their own creative power, and that someone is you. To create anything meaningful in your life, you must first be willing to see it within yourself. The inner world is the birthplace of every transformation, every success, every blessing you desire. Before it appears in your physical reality, it must be accepted, embraced, and felt in the quiet space of your imagination. This is where all creation begins, not outside of you, but inside the sanctuary of your mind and heart. Seeing it within means allowing yourself to step into the version of you who already has what you desire. It is not about begging, wishing, or waiting. It is about taking ownership of your inner picture with confidence and certainty. The moment you choose to see your desire as real within your imagination, you begin the process of aligning with it. You awaken a creative power that responds to your thoughts, your feelings, and your assumptions. This power does not judge whether your desire is big, small, reasonable, or impossible. It simply mirrors the state you occupy. When you close your eyes and imagine your desire as fulfilled, you are practicing the language of the universe. You are speaking in the vibration of completion. You are teaching your subconscious mind, which controls so much of your behavior and perception, what your new reality feels like. And the subconscious mind does not question, it accepts. Whatever you consistently show it through imagery and feeling becomes the truth it begins creating in your outer world. The inner picture is more important than anything you can see with your physical eyes. What you see outside is merely the reflection of yesterday's thoughts. What you imagine inside is the blueprint of tomorrow's experiences. If you want something new, you must begin with a new image, a new feeling, a new assumption. This is not fantasy. It is inner preparation. It is spiritual alignment. It is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. When you see it within, you bypass the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer influenced by the opinions of others, the current conditions of your life, or the doubts that sometimes whisper in your mind. In your imagination, there are no restrictions. You can create freely, fully, and without fear. This freedom allows you to step into the highest version of yourself long before anyone else sees it. And once you embody this internal shift, your outer circumstances are compelled to rearrange in response. Many people struggle not because their desires are unreachable, but because they refuse to see themselves as capable, deserving, or ready. They look at their current reality and assume it defines what is possible. But current reality is old news. It is simply the result of past assumptions, past emotions, and past beliefs. If you continue looking at what is, you will continue recreating more of the same. The way out, the way forward, is to turn inward and see the new reality within before it has a chance to show up outside. Seeing it within requires trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust in the laws that govern creation. It means knowing that what you desire exists for you the moment you imagine it. It means holding the inner picture even when nothing outside seems to support it. This is where your power grows. This is where your persistence matters. This is where the shift truly begins. As you practice visualizing your desire, allow yourself to feel the emotions that come with it. Feel the relief of having it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace. These feelings are the signals your subconscious mind responds to. They are the vibration that attracts matching experiences. You do not need to strain to feel anything dramatic. Even a soft sense of, yes, this is mine, is enough to begin the manifestation process. The emotion is the bridge between imagination and physical reality. Sometimes seeing it within may feel challenging because your mind is used to focusing on problems, limitations, or past disappointments. Be gentle with yourself. This is simply old conditioning. With practice, your imagination becomes clearer, stronger, and more receptive to new possibilities. The more you return to the inner image of your fulfilled desire, the more natural it becomes. Over time, it begins to feel familiar, almost like a memory. And when your desire feels like a memory rather than a wish, manifestation becomes inevitable. Your imagination is one of the most sacred tools you possess. It is not meant to be used only for worrying or replaying old events. It is meant to create. It is meant to design the life you truly want. It is meant to transport you into the reality you are choosing to embody. When you use your inner vision deliberately, you stop living by default and start living by design. Remember, every change begins invisibly. The seed grows long before it breaks through the soil. The sunrise begins in the darkness, and your manifestation begins in the invisible world within you. See it clearly, see it lovingly, see it as if it is already yours. Because once you see it within with enough certainty, life will have no choice but to bring it to you in perfect timing and perfect form. Your inner world is the source of your outer world. Nurture the vision inside you, and the physical reality will transform to match it. Seeing it within is not just the first step, it is the most important step. Once you claim it inwardly, everything else unfolds naturally. One of the greatest sources of stress, fear, and resistance during the manifestation process is the belief that you must know exactly how your desire will come to you. Many people delay their dreams because they are trying to predict, control, or force the unfolding of their blessings. They believe that unless they understand the path cannot appear. But the truth is profoundly freeing. You do not need to know how. You only need to know what you want and assume that it is already done in the unseen. The how is not your responsibility. It belongs to life, to the universe, to the unseen forces that are constantly working behind the scenes. When you attach yourself to the how, you place unnecessary pressure on your mind and block the natural flow that wants to guide you. Trying to figure out every detail restricts the possibilities that could lead you to your desire with ease. You close off unexpected pathways because you are too busy searching for the one you think should happen. Your mind is powerful, but it cannot see the entire picture the way the universe can. You only see a small portion of the story, while life sees all the connections, all the timing, all the people, all the events, all the shifts needed to bring your desire into form. When you allow the universe to handle the how, you open yourself to solutions you could never have imagined. You allow a greater wisdom to take the lead. The moment you decide what you want and assume that it is yours, the universe begins rearranging itself in ways you may not immediately understand. Circumstances shift quietly. People change their minds. Opportunities move closer. Conversations happen in your absence. Ideas arise in perfect timing. Everything begins aligning with your inner state. You do not need to see all this movement. You only need to maintain your assumption. The how often reveals itself when you least expect it, when you are relaxed, peaceful, and no longer trying to force anything. When you release the need to control, you become open and receptive. This openness is what brings clarity. It is what allows the next step to appear effortlessly. The universe works best through ease, not through panic or obsession. Think about the times in your life when something wonderful happened without you planning it. You met someone unexpectedly. You found an opportunity by chance. You received a blessing you didn't even know was on its way. None of it came from effortful overthinking. It came because life knows how to coordinate miracles far better than you do. Worrying about the how comes from a place of fear. Fear that your desire might not manifest. Fear that you are not enough. Fear that the universe will forget you. But fear is an illusion created by the mind when it tries to do a job it was never meant to do. Your job is simply to hold the inner vision, to create the state within, to assume the end. Whenever you catch yourself wondering how it will happen, gently redirect your focus inward. Remind yourself it is already done. The way will unfold. This simple reminder brings you back into alignment with the truth. It protects your energy. It calms your mind. It keeps you rooted in the end result rather than the uncertain middle. The how often shows up through a natural chain of events. One small step leads to another. A simple idea leads to a breakthrough. One decision brings you into contact with someone who changes everything. You do not need to plan this chain. You only need to follow the intuitive nudges that arise. Intuition is the language of the universe. It whispers the next step so gently that you might overlook it if you're too fixated on a specific plan. Trusting the unknown is an act of faith. It is a declaration that you believe in a power greater than your fears, a power that has always supported you, even during times when you didn't realize it. Every desire placed in your heart is placed there because it already exists as a possibility for you. Life never gives you a desire without also giving you the means to receive it, but the means are revealed one piece at a time, not all at once. Releasing the how is also an act of self-love. It gives you room to breathe, to relax, to enjoy the present moment without worrying about the future. When you let go, you free your mind from the burden of trying to solve something that is already solved in the unseen. You step out of the energy of struggle and into the energy of allowing. The how belongs to the universe. Your work is internal, to assume your desire is fulfilled, to feel it real, to live in the inner state of completion. That is the creative work. When you do your part, life takes care of the rest. Paths will open, people will appear, circumstances will shift, doors will unlock. None of it requires your force, only your faith. Trust that the how is being handled perfectly. Trust that the unseen is organizing everything in your favor. Trust that what you desire is on its way, not because you figured it out, but because you believed. Let the universe guide you, surprise you, and support you. You do not need to know how. You only need to remain open, receptive, and aligned with the truth that your desire is already yours. Feeling is the bridge between the world you imagine and the world you live in. It is the invisible force that connects your inner state to your outer reality. You can speak affirmations, visualize clearly, and repeat intentions every day, but without the accompanying feeling, the inner picture remains only an idea. Feeling is what gives life, energy, and power to your desires. It is the substance that transforms imagination into experience. When you learn to feel your desire as already fulfilled, you activate the creative law that shapes your reality in response. Every emotion you hold is a signal you send into the universe. It communicates your inner state far more powerfully than your words or thoughts. Words may say, "I am wealthy," but if you feel lack, the universe responds to lack. Thoughts may say, "I am loved," but if you feel fear or unworthiness, those feelings become your dominant vibration. Feeling is always the real message. It is always the true assumption, and your outer world faithfully mirrors whatever you consistently feel within. This is why learning to shift your emotions, not through force, but through gentle inner choosing, is the key to manifesting anything you desire. Feeling is not about pretending. It is not about forcing yourself into a state of excitement or overwhelming joy. You do not need to feel something dramatic. Even a quiet sense of relief, a soft feeling of, yes, this is mine, a peaceful acceptance is enough to begin the transformation. What matters is that the feeling aligns with the end result. The emotion you choose becomes the bridge that carries your desire from the invisible realm into physical form. When you imagine your desire, you must allow yourself to emotionally enter the scene. If you imagine abundance, let yourself feel the ease and security of having plenty. If you imagine love, let yourself feel the warmth, safety, and joy of being cherished. If you imagine success, let yourself feel the confidence and satisfaction of achieving it. These feelings become the energetic blueprint that your life begins to follow. Without feeling, imagination is only a picture. With feeling, imagination becomes a creative command. Many people struggle because they allow their emotions to be dictated by what they see outside. They look at their current circumstances and feel disappointment, doubt, or worry, but these feelings only recreate more of the same. Your feelings must lead, not follow. They must come from the reality you are choosing, not the reality you are observing. You cannot wait for something to appear before you feel the way you want to feel. You must feel it first. That is how the bridge is built. Feeling brings coherence between your inner world and your desire. It dissolves resistance. It softens fear. It aligns your subconscious mind with your chosen reality. The subconscious does not understand logic. It understands emotion. It responds instantly to the feelings you embody. When you allow the feeling of the end to become your natural state, the subconscious begins guiding your behavior, your thoughts, and your circumstances toward that outcome. You start noticing opportunities, attracting people, and making decisions that align effortlessly with your desire. It all begins with feelings. Sometimes old emotions will rise up. Fear, doubt, insecurity. This is normal. It does not mean your manifestation is failing. It simply means your body and mind are releasing old patterns. When these emotions appear, meet them with compassion. Do not fight them. Do not judge them. Let them pass through you like a temporary storm, then gently return to the feeling of your fulfilled desire. This returning is a powerful act of alignment. Each time you do it, you strengthen the bridge between your inner and outer realities. To cultivate the right feeling, you can use simple practices. Place your hand over your heart and breathe slowly, allowing your body to relax. Then bring the image of your desire into your mind and whisper inwardly, "This is my reality." Let the feeling arise naturally. If the feeling is faint, let it be faint. If it grows strong, let it grow. Your only job is to allow, not to force. Even a gentle, consistent feeling is enough to carry your manifestation across the bridge into physical life. Another way to anchor the feeling is through gratitude. Gratitude has a unique power because it represents completion. You do not feel grateful for something you do not have. You feel grateful for something that is already yours. When you give thanks for your desire as if it has already arrived, you align yourself emotionally with the fulfilled state. Gratitude becomes the emotional signature that tells the universe, "I have received," and the universe responds accordingly. Feeling is also the energy that keeps you stable during moments of uncertainty. When you trust the feeling, you no longer need constant signs or proof. You no longer need reassurance from the outside world. The feeling becomes your evidence. It becomes your guidance. It becomes your anchor. It tells you that manifestation is already unfolding, even when nothing visible has changed yet. Feeling is truly the bridge. It is what connects imagination to reality, desire to fulfillment, thought to experience. When you master the art of feeling your desire as already done, life will reshape itself around that inner truth. Doors will open, people will appear, opportunities will align, and what once seemed distant will become your everyday reality, all because you felt it first. Consistency is the quiet magic that transforms your desires from distant hopes into lived reality. It is not dramatic, it is not loud, and it does not always feel powerful in the moment, but it is the force that shapes your life more than anything else. When you are consistent with your thoughts, your feelings, and your inner assumptions, you create a stable foundation through which your manifestations can flow. Consistency is the bridge between temporary inspiration and permanent transformation. So many people give up too soon, not because their desire is impossible, but because they lose consistency. They let their outer reality distract them. They let fear interrupt their focus. They let doubt whisper louder than their inner truth. Manifestation is never about intensity. It is about repetition. Small, steady alignment is stronger than rare bursts of excitement. Returning again and again to the inner state of your wish fulfilled is what signals to the universe that you are serious, committed, and ready to receive. Consistency is the magic because it rewires your subconscious mind. The subconscious is shaped through repetition, through the thoughts you choose every day, the feelings you practice, the assumptions you return to. One positive thought will not override years of conditioning, but daily acceptance of a new belief begins to dissolve the old patterns effortlessly. Each day you choose to align, even for a moment you are planting seeds, and those seeds grow quietly, even when you cannot yet see the sprouts. The magic of consistency appears in the smallest acts. Sitting for a few minutes to imagine your desire. Gently redirecting your mind when it drifts into worry. Choosing a more empowering thought. Feeling gratitude, or affirming your new identity. These actions might seem simple, but together they create unstoppable momentum. Consistency amplifies your belief. It strengthens your inner world. It teaches the universe exactly what you expect. When you stay consistent, you are declaring to life, this is who I am now. This is the reality I choose. That inner declaration becomes your vibration, and vibration is what attracts. Not what you think once, not what you feel occasionally, but what you hold consistently. You become a magnet for experiences that reflect the inner energy you sustain. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means returning. You will have days when your mind feels scattered, when doubts appear, or when old emotions rise up. This does not mean you've failed. What matters is how gently you guide yourself back. Consistency lives in the return, not in never drifting. Each time you realign with your desire, you strengthen your inner authority. You teach yourself that you are in control of your state, not your circumstances. Over time, consistency reshapes your identity. You begin to think differently, feel differently, react differently. Things that once triggered fear now trigger confidence. Situations that once brought stress now feel manageable. You realize you have become the version of you who naturally attracts what you desire. The external changes are simply a reflection of the inner transformation that consistency created. Think of water wearing down stone. It is not the force of one wave that shapes the rock, but the steady rhythm, the continuous flow. Your mind works the same way. One moment of faith can plant a seed, but consistent faith allows it to blossom. One visualization may open the door, but consistent imagining invites the manifestation through it. One affirmation may spark hope, but consistent affirmation turns hope into certainty. Consistency is also a form of self-love. It is the decision to show up for yourself every day, even when circumstances tempt you to give in to doubt. It is the promise you make to your heart that you will not abandon your desire just because it has not yet appeared physically. You hold the vision gently but firmly, trusting that what you nurture internally must eventually reflect externally. The universe responds to clarity, and nothing creates clarity like consistency. When your inner state becomes stable, life aligns with you effortlessly. Opportunities show up without struggle. New ideas flow naturally. People who can help you appear at the right time. Things fall into place because your energy is no longer scattered in many directions. You have chosen your path, and consistency keeps you on it. Even when nothing seems to be happening, consistency is working. Manifestation often grows in the unseen long before it appears in the physical. The shifts are subtle at first, small changes in your thoughts, gradual improvements in your mood, signs that feel like whispers rather than shouts. But if you stay consistent, these whispers accumulate into undeniable evidence. Consistency is the magic because it honors the law of creation. What you persist in internally must become your reality externally. Your persistence tells the universe, I know this is mine, and the universe responds by aligning circumstances in your favor. Stay consistent, stay grounded in your inner truth, stay committed to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Your outer world will catch up, it always does. The magic is already working each time you return to your chosen state. Consistency is not just a practice, it is the path to everything you desire. There is a profound freedom that comes when you finally allow life to deliver the impossible. Most people carry the belief that they must struggle, push, and fight their way to their desires. They think they must understand every step, control every detail, and force outcomes into existence. But the truth is far more gentle, far more miraculous. You are not here to make life happen through strain. You are here to align with your desire and let life deliver it in ways you could never plan. Life is not limited by logic, timing, or physical circumstances. It can transcend what seems possible. It can create pathways where none existed. It can orchestrate events, inspire new ideas, rearrange situations, and bring people into your life at the perfect moment. What is impossible to the human mind is simple for the universe. It is only the mind that doubts, fears, or restricts. Life itself is limitless. Letting life deliver the impossible means releasing the belief that you must earn, chase, or struggle for your blessings. It means stepping into a higher trust, a trust that knows your desires were placed in your heart because they are meant for you. If something lives deeply within you, it is not random. It is not a mistake. It is the universe whispering your destiny into your soul. The impossible is often the most aligned path. It is only your current point of view that cannot see the full picture yet. When you allow life to deliver the impossible, you stop fighting against your own power. You stop shrinking into fear and start rising into faith. Faith is not a blind hope. It is a quiet knowing. It is the certainty that even when you cannot see the process is unfolding flawlessly. It is the understanding that life is always working for you, never against you. Every delay, every redirection, every pause is part of the perfection, not a sign of failure. Life's magic often begins invisibly. It starts in the realm of energy, intention, and imagination. The moment you assume your desire as real, life begins moving to match that assumption. You may not see the movement right away, but it is happening. Invisible shifts are occurring. Conversations are happening behind the scenes. Connections are forming. Opportunities are aligning. The universe responds instantly to your inner state, even if the physical world takes a moment to catch up. Letting life deliver the impossible requires surrender, but not the kind of surrender that means giving up. It means giving up resistance. It means letting go of doubt, fear, and the belief that your desire is difficult. Surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is the willingness to release control in order to receive something greater than you could have created through force. When you surrender, you step into alignment. And from alignment, the impossible becomes natural. One of the most powerful ways to let life deliver the impossible is to live in the feeling of your desire fulfilled. When you feel the end result is real, you become a match to it. You enter the vibration where your desire already exists, and life has no choice but to reflect that vibration back to you. It will bring ideas, people, and circumstances that mirror your inner state. This is how manifestation works, not through effort, but through energetic consistency. Life loves to surprise you. It loves to exceed your expectations. It loves to show you that what you thought was far away is actually within reach. But to experience these miracles, you must allow space for them. If you cling to fear, doubt, or rigid plans, you block the creative flow. When you open up, relax, and trust, you invite the impossible to unfold through the path of least resistance. Sometimes the impossible shows up when you stop trying to force it, when you focus on joy, ease, and presence, when you release the timeline and return your attention to the inner knowing that what you desire is already yours. Life does not respond to pressure. It responds to alignment. It responds to your state of being. When your state matches your desire, manifestation becomes inevitable. Letting life deliver the impossible also means you must stop measuring your progress by what you see outside. The outside world is old news. It is simply the echo of past thoughts and past feelings. The real creation is happening within you. When you focus on your inner state, you transform your outer experience. What was once impossible becomes the new normal. What once felt out of reach becomes part of your everyday life. And as you continue practicing this trust, you will notice something magical. The impossible becomes familiar. Miracles become expected. Blessings arrive effortlessly. Life begins to feel lighter, safer, and more supportive. You start to realize that the universe has always been on your side. You were simply not allowing yourself to receive its gifts fully. Let life deliver the impossible. Let it surprise you, uplift you, and guide you. Let it show you that your dreams are not too big, they are perfect. Let it reveal that the impossible is only the unexperienced, not the unattainable. And as you surrender to this truth, you open the door to a reality far brighter than anything you have ever imagined. You become the creator of miracles simply by allowing life to do what it does best, deliver beyond your expectations.